Good morning. It's July 16th, and it's a warm one, and it's a bit later than I normally walk, so it's warmer than it would have been if I'd gotten going on my usual time. But I had to go get a physical this morning at 9 o'clock, so that's over and done with. We won't talk about that, and except I'm doing well. If you're concerned, I seem to be doing fine. This is kind of the start of my extended birthday weekend. My birthday's on Tuesday, but we're having some friends over tomorrow, and my wife took the day off in honor of my birthday. Not necessarily, but that's the way it worked out. It's about 26 degrees already and going up to 34 or 5 today. So I'm already warm enough that it's going to be a warm one, this walk, but that's okay. It won't kill me. It's not that warm. And the exciting thing today is it's Friday, so I'm walking around the lake, but with the health restrictions lifted, I am walking counterclockwise around the lake instead of clockwise the way. And if you've been watching this, you know I always thought that was the silliest thing in the world, as if there was any risk of being infected because you pass somebody going the other direction outside in Saskatchewan. Nevertheless, they did have it marked. They may still have it marked, but I'm ignoring it as of today. I will be walking counterclockwise, and then after this I'll probably alternate. I mean, there's only two choices, clockwise or counterclockwise. But I always used to tend to walk counterclockwise as I'm going to today. So today will be more like my traditional approach that I haven't done for quite some time. Don't know why they stopped. Oh, it wants to point over in that direction this morning. So writing-wise, I edited another story for the anthology yesterday. We've already started editing one today. Working my way through those. Still aiming to have that anthology of fiction by second-year guests of my podcast, The World Shapers, theworldshapers.com, out this fall. Kickstarter version will go out first, and then the commercial release will follow very shortly thereafter. Because that's the only time when I start making any money. All the Kickstarter funds are pretty much taken up in the process of producing the book, and then I don't actually make a profit until I start selling the book, so looking forward to getting to that point. I put in a lot of hours before I get to that point. So let's see what's happening with the painting of the tunnel here. These murals are new. I'm trying to, I think they're planning to do the whole tunnel. They're hoping to dissuade the graffiti vandals. Oh, this is all new along here. There's some on the other side now as well. And of course I've seen this before, and now the other side is done here too, with the turtle. That's nice. But I still got it blocked off at this end, but too late now. Alrighty, here we go. We're walking counterclockwise today. No apologies. There's the lake. It's a little hazy today, mostly from smoke probably. There's a lot of forest fires burning up north and to our west. And although I can't smell any smoke, it's a good bet that that's what that haze is. It's a fairly common phenomenon, but in a bad year, you particularly notice it. So here's the actual dam that makes the lake, which is of course not a natural lake. There's sometimes pelicans down there. I don't see any today. Oh wait, there's one. Two. There's some boats on the lake over there too, canoes it looks like, or kayaks. A few years ago when Worldcon was in Spokane, World Science Fiction Convention, it was a bad fire year everywhere. And there was really thick smoke there. And, you know, we'd had similar conditions off and on. Kind of took it in stride. But you get a lot of people at Worldcon from like New York City or places like that. And they thought it was quite apocalyptic. I'm not saying it's a good thing, because it certainly isn't. But we were a little more sanguine about it than they were. Morning. It's a very dramatic lighting because of that, because it turns the sun blood red sometimes even in the middle of the day if it's thick enough. So it is quite an apocalyptic feel, I guess. So coming this way first, we go into the ceremonial gardens in front of the Saskatchewan Legislative Building right away. And they should have come along. It's been 2 weeks since I walked because last week I was in Saskatoon on Friday and I didn't make a point of doing it on a different way. So it's been 2 days since I've walked this way. Well, I haven't, no longer than that since I've walked this way because of the restriction they had. But 2 weeks since I walked around the lake. So we should see some more development on the flowers here from the last time I came this way. Yes, they've definitely come along. Pretty much looking fully done now, fully grown, fully blossomed. They're very lovely. There's Walter Scott, the first Premier of the province, holding the blueprints for the Legislative Building. There's the gardens, looking very nice. They have these little topiary leaping dolphin things going on here. They're not really topiary, I guess. I guess they're probably peat moss or something with succulents and flowers growing out of them. Some hanging baskets in the middle. All kinds of different flowers. course, the legislative building and the statue of the Queen. As I mentioned many times, when she dedicated that statue, we were standing right over here in the rain. I was holding my daughter, who was not quite 3, I think. And she was able to give flowers to the Queen right after she dedicated this statue. If you look the other way, back towards downtown, okay, so that's the starting point going this direction as opposed to almost the ending point, which it has normally been. So far nobody has said hello, but if you see this and you're live on YouTube or Facebook, say hi. I can't actually see the screen at the moment, but as I find shaded places, I'll be able to. I have a distinct feeling my horizon is way off today. It looks to me like I'm tilted to the right a little bit, but there's not much I can do about that. So I can try moving it over a little bit that way. I doubt that'll make much difference. So my wife says that bothers me more than it bothers other people, which is probably true. There's a little shade. Has anybody said hello? Doesn't look like it. Why is it so dark? It's like the screen has gone really, really dark. Let's see if I can do something about that. No, the screen is supposed to be up to full brightness, but it's really dim. Oh well. I may not be able to see any comments even if they come up today. Maybe it's just my eyes after the bright sun looking that dim. I'm walking down towards the Trafalgar Fountain here. Which is running today, which is nice. It's like they're trimming the shrubbery there as well. So you see, you get different views of things by walking in the opposite direction. Oh, there's a lot of boats on the lake. Of course, you look on past the fountain, you see that other fountain on the other side of the lake. That's an aeration fountain. Puts water into the air into the water, oxygen into the water. So this fountain did actually stand in Trafalgar Square at one point in London. Came here in 1939, I believe. This is a crosswalk, but I would still be careful crossing here. Funniest thing was when I saw a group of geese crossing right in the crosswalk with some adults and a bunch of baby geese earlier this year. You see the boats out there? There's a pelican. Right there, you see the pelican and the boats. That's Robert's place over there, that tower. I've walked by it many times now. Pelican friend. It's really hard to aim because I can't see the screen. It's just really dark today. So hopefully I'm doing all right. It's really weird because it certainly shows it to be. I mean, I'll look again, but I'm sure it was showing the screen to be completely turned up. Oh, well, there's somebody. Hello, Linda. Hi. I can't really read the note, but I can just make out your name. Just going to see if I can. Hopefully that didn't interfere with anything. Also didn't do any good. It's just as dark as it was. It's like the screen thinks it's dark, but it's really very bright. But again, maybe it's just my eyes adjusted to the really bright light and are now haven't had a chance to adjust to the. I apologize if everything is slightly off kilter. It looks to me like it is. I could try to fix that too, but that would almost certainly cause a problem. Hi. I try shoving it to the left just a little bit to give more weight on that side. Does that make a difference? Doesn't really look like it. If anything, it looks worse. There is something else I could try, but I can't see well enough to try it, and I don't know if it would work or not without disrupting the stream. But yeah, it looks really angled to the right today for some reason, so just tilt your head a little bit. And maybe that's just an optical illusion on my end and it's actually fine. Again, I can't really see the screen very well. I'll take a little turn out here. This is one of the aeration. It's not a fountain in this case, but that's the purpose of this. Down here. Puts water, air into the water. That's Spruce Island there, which is completely undeveloped, no landing place there. They're all artificial islands, but that one is just brush, whereas Willow Island has picnic place on it, and Pine Island, well, we'll be going on Pine Island probably as we keep going this way. It'll be coming up before long. There's lots of picnic spaces over in this part of the park here. In fact, I think I see people at one up there. But you can see right through here, there's lots of picnic tables. Also up here is the totem pole, which I've looked at. Won't go over there today, but I've looked at it on other previous walks around here. I sure wish I could see the screen. Yeah, somebody's barbecuing over there. Spruce Island again. Now I can smell the grill. And there's a little overlook here. Go on and get a good look at Spruce Island. You'll see that the boats that are out today. There's the island, and it looks like, I guess they're kayaks, they're not canoes. And over there is the Connexus Arts Center sticking up above the trees and above Pine Island. Hello. Like they're sprinkling up here. So the question is there a path through? I don't seem to be worried about sprinkling the walkway, so I'll have to time this carefully. Or, that one up there doesn't seem to be moving. I might just get wet. This one's coming around, and I think it's going to keep coming, so. Ooh, pretty much missed it. They're not worried about you getting wet.
Yeah, especially with that one.
This one's coming this way now. I think I'll go around that one. Don't normally walk over here, but I'm just trying to avoid that sprinkler a bit. It's very enthusiastically spraying here. Well, I didn't get wet, so that's good. And I think that water's straight from the lake, so you'd really prefer not to. Morning. And I've walked over there a few times, not recently, I'll do that again. Everything was very green and spring green, but now it's starting to get that more summer, more brown mixed in, unless it's been a place that gets watered all the time. So over there, where I don't think they water, looking much browner than it was. It's always geese. Also not exactly baby geese, more like teenage geese. I found mosquitoes when I went under the trees to escape the sprinkler. That's where they're all hiding. It's in the shade. Shouldn't have to worry about getting run over on this path, but here comes a golf cart. to see downtown through the trees there. Get a better view up here when I go onto Pine Island. Up here is the Saskatchewan Land Surveyors Association monument. And I wrote their history book, so I always appreciate that, although it was some time ago now that I wrote their history book. Doesn't seem like that long ago, but it must be over 10 years now. Lots of geese under the bridge here. We will go over onto Pine Island and check it out. Go into the waterfall. Big flock of geese. See the boats out there, kayaks, I think, as opposed to canoes. I think you can rent one. Never have, I should. We rented one on a canoe on Emerald Lake. Now, admittedly, Emerald Lakes in the mountains and the scenery is, well, let's say it's different. I wouldn't want to say better, but it's different. I don't know, it could be a kids camp or clearly lots of boat action today. And there's downtown. Well, actually, the main part of downtown is behind the trees. That City Hall sticking up there. And our house is over there by those two buildings sticking up. Lots of boating action. I'll probably walk down there and get quite close to it as I continue on around. You can see the other aeration fountain way over there. Then here's the waterfall, which is also to keep the water aerated. Yeah. Well, might get my feet wet a little bit, but we'll try it. Slippery too. Just a cooling ankle bath there, I guess you could say. All that boating going on. We will carry on around, back over the bridge, and carry on around the lake. Again, this is the first time I've walked counterclockwise since I started this. Watch out, there's always geese here. And they don't get disturbed as often on this lake, so they always seem, on this island, they always seem just a little more put out by the fact that you're walking by them than they do on the main path. Short. Okay, wake up, coming through. That was Pine Island, the only island we can actually walk onto of the three in the lake. This side of the, well, the three in the lake on this side of the Broad Street Bridge. Starting to see a few more posters popping up as things start to happen, with restrictions all being lifted. I personally am now only wearing masks when absolutely required by some business. Like for my physical today, they wanted masks in the doctor's office, so I wore one. I won't wear one unless forced to.
Yeah, that's it.
And yes, I'm not even doing anything rebellious here. They've clearly taken down the signs that say only walk one way. Just haven't seen a single one on this lake walk. There's usually a lot of birds down on this little muddy stretch too. It looks like they're mostly seagulls today. Or land gulls, I guess. It's a long way from the sea. Gulls. And since there's also some boys out there, we have boys and gulls together. Ba-dum-bum. Next landmark is the Broad Street Bridge. Which you can walk under, and I have once to go on a longer walk down to the university, but I haven't quite done that. Last time I went to the university, I parked at the Connexus Arts Center over there and walked to the university. Those university walks always get more views. I think it's from prospective students wanting to see what it looks like, maybe. I think there's been another greeting or something, but I can't. Can I see it? Can I make it out? Let's point to that direction and see if I can. Oh yeah, that's Miriam. Hi, Miriam. From Italy. You always seem to find me, no matter what time I walk. So the big thing today is I'm walking around the lake in the opposite direction than I've walked yet with the camera. And 130 some walks, of which, what, 20 probably been around the lake? Maybe a few fewer. Basically one a week. So call it 140. That would be 20 if I did it once a week. But I think I've missed one or two Fridays, or maybe only one that I make up some other day. So probably about 20 times around the lake. This is the first time I've walked this direction. They've taken down the signs that say you should only walk one way, which I always thought were silly anyway. So I'm pleased to be able to now walk whichever direction I want. I'd say most people are still walking in that one direction they've gotten used to, but I have seen others walking the other direction in the last week or so, this direction. We'll go down here by the rowing club all those boats are happening. This is a boat launch here. Those are dragon boats there. They have a dragon boat festival. Well, they did have it every year. It hasn't happened for the last couple of years, I guess, but maybe this year. Or at least it didn't happen last year. I don't know what the plan is for this year. So local teams will form and practice, and then they have this race. I guess it's a fundraiser. Never actually come to watch it, so don't really know, I guess. Nicest deck in Regina. If you're looking for a place to eat, this is Bar Willow. And they should have more seating now that the restrictions have lifted. Big day for restaurants when they could start bringing in more tables and having more people at once. The ones that have survived. There's a few that seem to have not survived. We are coming up where the boats are. We're going to cut through the playground. That's the look of a summer camp. Mostly young people. You can see it's all open. There's boat rentals available. There's a kayak. At least that's what I call it. Maybe it's not formally a kayak. It doesn't really look like a canoe though. Not a traditional canoe anyway. This will take us down over another footbridge by the other aeration fountain over here. And of course the legislative building is always there. It's kind of your landmark. Oh, red-winged blackbird. I can see there's something else on the screen, but I can't read it just at the moment. Maybe instead of going over the footbridge, I'll take the way around to the right, just to be different. Because when I come the other way, I almost always take the footbridge. So we'll walk around this pool this direction. There's the fountain. I can maybe see something in the shade here if I stop for a second. Can't quite read it, but there's the view of the bridge and the legislative building and the fountain. I guess since I came this way, I'll go up these steps just to be different too. I've done that once or twice. Let's do it today. There's a lookout up here so you can get a nice view of the east end of the legislative building. And there's downtown over there. get a nice panorama if that's what you're after. That's Wascana Center there. Sorry, Wascana Place. The whole thing is Wascana Center. That's kind of where the administration is for the park. And there's a bit of an art collection in there, and you can there's a space that I've had a fence in there as well. Bit of a kitchen, and then there's a lovely garden out back of it, which I should go into sometime. I haven't been back there yet. See what it looks like now that it's summer and things are blooming. It's the bloomin' summer. Little kids on bikes, trying out the wheels. Hi. Next thing up here is Willow Island. And I'm sorry I cannot read the comments at the moment. So, you know, talk amongst yourselves if there's more than one person watching. There's a bit of shade up here. Maybe I'll be able to make it something out. That's the Queen building over there, which is technically, it's run sort of like a ship, HMCS Queen. That's where the naval cadets hang out. I presume if you wanted to join the Navy, that's where you would go to sign up. They do say prairie people make good sailors, but I don't think it would in my case be true, because knowing my propensity for motion sickness, I can't imagine I would do well on a ship. Well, maybe I'd get over it. That's Willow Island over there now. Let's see if I can make out anything in the shade here of whatever somebody said. Asking the name of the place with something springs of water. I'm still not sure what you're asking. Because I can't make out the key word. Let me try over here. Awesome springs of water. Well, it's all Wascana Center, it's all Wascana Park, and the fountains and the waterfall are just water from the lake being pumped up into the air so that they get oxygenated, because there is a fish population in the lake, which there didn't used to be really, because the lake was, as it started to fill in over the years, it got to the point where it's basically freezing solid. And so fish couldn't overwinter. And then in the summer, because it was so shallow, it would be clogged with weeds, and the water would get very low in oxygen. So the aeration fountains the waterfall on Pine Island, the one we just walked by back there, and the one we'll walk by towards the end of the walk here. Just take water from the lake and run it through the air so that it gets oxygen in it, and return it to the lake for the fish population. And because we now have a reliable fish population in the lake, we also get other wildlife, like the pelicans that I pointed out. They eat fish, so as long as there are pelicans around, you know there's fish in the water. We never had pelicans until they deepened the lake about more than 15 years ago now. It's now 9 meters deep at the deepest point, and deeper than it was throughout. So that's made it a much more healthy water environment for fish and other things. There's an overlook up here too, but I won't bother going out on it. You can look at Willow Island, which you can rent for picnics and things. It's also where they set off fireworks when we have fireworks. It's from Willow Island. I always have to stop over here because this is where my young adult fantasy series, The Shards of Excalibur, starts, because the Lady of the Lake shows up in that patch of water right there. And my main character, Ariane, sees this staircase going down into the water, follows it down to this chamber where she sees this woman made of water. Turns out to be the Lady of the Lake. Turns out Ariane is heir to the power of the Lady of the Lake. And she and a younger boy who just happened to show up with her, or so it seems, Wally Knight, are given the quest of finding the scattered shards of King Arthur's sword Excalibur, and before Merlin can. Merlin's the bad guy in my book, so he's kind of like a Bill Gates, Steve Jobs computer guy in the world of the story. So over the course of the 5 books, they have to go all around the world and find pieces of the shards of Excalibur, because the magic that Ariane inherits from the Lady of the Lake allows her to travel through water, which is how they get around. So the first book is here and in Yellowknife, or Northwest Territories, partly in Yellowknife. Second book takes place various places, but its main location is New Zealand. No, sorry, south of France. Second book, Twist of the Blade. Caves in the south of France. The third book, Lake in the Clouds, takes place in further north in Saskatchewan and in Toronto and in New Zealand. The fourth book, Cave Beneath the Sea, takes place in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and some town in Ontario, I don't remember which one. But the main part is set on a Caribbean island. There's even a submarine in that one. And then the last book, Adoring the Fairy, takes place in Scotland and finishes off back in Saskatchewan. So I do get them around the world quite a bit in those books. But it all starts there by Willow Island and it finishes there by Willow Island. Not a spoiler to say that they managed to find all the pieces of the sword and it gets reforged. Because, you know, what else is going to happen in a series like that? The sword is disposed of by, not disposed of, but hidden here in Wascana Lake, thrown into the water just to the east of Willow Island back there. West of Willow Island back there. So, Shards of Excalibur, check it out. Currently it's an Amazon exclusive, ebook-wise. The print is currently, there's only a couple of print, the first 2 books are in print. I'm working on them all. The publisher, Kato Books, went out of business, and the rights reverted to me. So I'm republishing them through Shadowpaw Press. And the first two are available on Amazon in print, and soon the others will be, and then they'll be available through Ingram, which means you can get them through any bookstore once I get them. Once I get that done, it's just part of the many hours of work of things that are sort of on my agenda to get done. So we're almost done. A little bit further here, we'll go back under the bridge, and then just a couple of blocks to home. So here's the Albert Street Bridge. Legislature's still over there, as it always has been. I don't know why she moved to the grassy side as opposed to staying on the path. There's the other aeration fountain there. You can see, very long bridge, but the dam is actually very short. The actual water under the bridge is a small section in the middle. Hi, how are you? You can be if I pointed at you. That's where they're building the new pool up there, Wascana pool. They tore out the old one, and there's going to be a much nicer one now going in. I have never been in that pool. Used to walk by it sometimes, see people splashing around in there. I'm not much of a pool guy. I can manage a bit of swimming. You know, I don't panic in the water, but not a good swimmer, not even a good floater. Something to do with the way my body mass is distributed, I guess. And I just get bored. Like, after you splash around for a few minutes, what's left? I want to get out and read something.
They're like, he doesn't.
Maybe people always chose to walk clockwise, but it seems to me like there's still everybody's walking in one direction, even though they've taken down the signs and that restriction is gone. Not me. I will now walk whichever way I darn well feel like it. Coming back to the bridge. I don't know what that truck's doing over there.
That I really quite like. That's like.
I'll take another look at the new murals in the tunnel under the bridge here. Nope, nope, they got it blocked off completely again now, so they must be down there working. So I guess we're going up here. Speaker's Corner. And our ever popular crosswalk light. Sometimes you have to wait a while for this one. We'll see. There we go. It doesn't chirp. I was waiting for a chirp. I did not get chirped at. And since I talked yet again about Shards of Excalibur series, look it up on Amazon. This is where Wally Knight lives, the boy who becomes the companion of Marianne, who's the heir to the power of the Lady of the Lake. It turns out it wasn't entirely a coincidence that he was there at the moment that the lady showed up and the quest began. But I won't say more than that. You need to read the books. First, you need to buy the books. Actually, I don't care if you read them. Just buy them. That's not true. The whole point of writing is to be read. You're trying to communicate something to somebody, telling a story, communicating ideas, communicating emotions, thoughts. It's kind of a clumsy form of telepathy. You're trying to put the thoughts that are in your brain into somebody else's brain using words, written words. Just go through the alley here and a little ways around the crescent and we'll be home. Or I'll be home. I don't know where you are. This is Leopold Crescent. In general, the houses on Leopold are just a bit bigger than the ones on Angus where we live. I don't know if they were built first or what. And that's Davin School up there, designed by the same architect as designed our house, actually, and built our house, Francis Portnell. Still waiting for them to finish this garage. It's just been wrapped now for years. No stucco or siding or whatever they intend to put on it. You can see in the stucco there used to be more windows. And the one up there used to be bigger. Angus Crescent. And that'll do. So thanks for walking with me. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.